I run around all the time talking about people being stuck. What does that even mean? My name is Coach Bruce, and I'm a life coach for ADHD parents. So I'm thinking about switching that for parents who have ADHD. I want to make sure that you understand who I'm talking to. Your kids also likely have ADHD, but I am trying to talk to the parents who have ADHD themselves because I understand the struggles that you have because I am a parent who has ADHD. And so I just wanted to clarify that really quick, but I also want to clarify what it means to be stuck. There's a lot of different ways to talk about it, but the way that it applies most to how I coach is the same story keeps being the result of the situation that you're in. So the story is how we approach a topic, idea, feeling, like all the things that we tell ourselves about the situation that we're in with that topic, feeling, relationship, whatever. Like that's the story we tell ourselves. Like for say, if you have a problem overeating, the story you might tell yourself is, I'm a piece of shit. I can't not eat too much. I'm so disgusting. Nobody will ever love me. That is a very limiting story. I know that story. The story feels familiar. So that is what a story is. Seeing that same story over and over and over again is being stuck. So as I talk about in the description here, there is more than one way to be stuck. Like I just categorized it in levels. So for me, doing the work of coaching, living the warrior's way, living a life of truth, and doing the work every day keeps me from getting medium stuck or mid-level stuck or high level stuck very often. Like I'm not high level stuck ever. But sometimes, very rarely, I get mid-level stuck, but I get low level stuck often because we're human beings and we make mistakes. So the low level stuck is you do the work. You find out what the story you're telling yourself is. You you do the work to try to break that story and write a new story, but you continue on about your life and you find over weeks or months that that story comes up again in a different way, in a different context. It's not that you're not doing the work, it's just that you haven't fully uncovered the way that that story is affecting your life. Like that is, it's just a way of, like, it's kind of like an active stuck. Like you're doing all the right stuff to get out of being stuck, but you're going to keep seeing some of the same stories for a while because we are programmed by the lives that we've led to think a certain way about ourselves. And then until you do the work for a extended period of time, even if you've broken those stories, you're programmed to default back to them. So it takes a while to like really break those stories permanently and move away from them. Like there's a couple that I feel like I'm starting to get there with, but there's plenty more that are still really, really deeply programmed into my core being. And I have to keep doing the work and digging those out and rewriting those stories often until that programming is gone. The mid level stuck is that you are doing enough work to identify stories. You are you are like at least being able to find out what you're telling yourself about a situation, but you don't do anything about it. Like it is important to acknowledge, to tell the truth, to deal with the situation, to talk about the situation that you're in. It actually does provide a lot of relief, but it doesn't provide a way forward. The relief is good, but if you're doing the work, the relief allows for you to take the next step, which is to do something about it. So that's whenever you're like, that's mid-level stuck, is you are aware of the problem, but you are not actively trying to do anything about it. Likely you're scared or you don't know what to do or you need help or you could use a guide of some sort to help you through this process. That's what the whole point of this page is, to help talk about how you break those stories and learn to be kinder to yourself and also learn to trust your inner voice again, because the stories you've been taught to tell yourself for your entire life have told you not to trust who you are on the inside. So then there's high level stuck. High level stuck is you tell yourself and everyone around you that you're okay. When I know that you're not, you know that you're not, and most people can tell that you're not, but you just say, I'm okay. You're afraid to engage with your real feelings because you don't know how to deal with them. You're scared of it. And because you're scared of it, you just keep it at arm's length. You disconnect, you suppress those feelings, and you just go on living like everything is fine, even though there is a huge hole in your life that you don't know how to fill. This is who I was a year ago. I didn't know how to engage with my deepest emotions. So I just locked them away and I didn't engage with them. And not being able to do that blocks off your ability to deal with your highest emotions as well. Whenever you lock away your depression, your anger, your rage, you also lock away your joy, your gratitude, your appreciation, your happiness, like finding deep levels of one, or appreciating deep levels of one allows you to appreciate deep levels of the other. And that was what I struggled with whenever I first started to like really start to deeply engage in my feelings again. It was hard, but being able to feel real anger and real depression allowed me to feel real gratitude and real happiness. And then a lot of people are afraid to deal with those feelings because they have no idea what to do with them. You need to have a process in which you take those super heavy emotions and you process them. Because just going into your deepest, darkest space with no plan is not a good move. Because a lot of people get stuck down there. And I guess I didn't talk about that. Like that's like threat level zero. That is the worst way of stuck, because that you've gone into the darkest emotions you have without a plan and you get stuck in those. You go through weeks or months of depression, or you're just mad all the time because you've engaged in those deep dark emotions with no way out, with nothing to help process them. And that's a really scary place to be. That's why I locked my emotions away in the first place, because I used to engage in that deep rage and do scary shit. Like it wasn't safe for anybody around me. So that's why I did that. And then I grew and I got older and I realized that that wasn't a healthy way to deal with it either. It's about learning how to actually process those emotions, um, dig into them, see what stories you're telling yourself about them, and then being able to turn them into life lessons and fuel to propel you into growth. Like that is the opposite of being stuck. That is growing actively. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I didn't want people to write off being stuck because they're like, well, surely that's not me. But if they don't know what it is, then how do they know? So that's today. Just if you are stuck in the stories that you are telling yourself and you're tired of hearing those stories, I would love to hear more from you. So throw a me in the comment and or throw a me in the comments. And let's have a discussion. I would love to hear the story that you are stuck telling yourself right now and how you plan to break it. That's it for today. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.